Lucia, what are you doing here on the corner of Castroid Market?
Hey, Josué. What, didn't you hear?
Nah, hear what? What's going on?
This November, San Francisco's working class is taking the city back. That's right.
Oh, snap. I think I heard about that. Are you talking about Prop G and J?
That's right. Of course I'm talking about Prop G and J. Not only do we have the opportunity this November to protect our affordable housing, also raise the minimum wage and keep our working class families in San Francisco.
Now that sounds like a party I want to be at. So welcome everybody to the official launch of Yes on G and Yes on J.
That's right, Charles. San Francisco is facing a crisis of inequality, right? And the biggest driver, one of the big drivers for this is that the wages continue to be flat while the housing prices keep going up in the most expensive market in the country. What do we think about that? Right? So we need fair wages, we need to protect our affordable housing, and this November we have the opportunity to do so with Yes on G and Yes on J. Am I right? Thank you very much. So welcome everybody. My name is Lucia Kimball. I'm with Causa Justa Just Cause. And my co-MC over here.
Josué Ruiz with Young Workers United.
Alright y'all, so both Prop G and Prop J are developed grassroots community demanded measures on this ballot this November through a neighborhood convention process. Over 5 neighborhoods that were involved and culminated in a 600 plus tenant assembly. We were able to make Prop G not just an idea, but a concrete solution to our housing crisis, right? Prop G is going to provide economic disincentives to end that quick flipping that we continue to see, which is leading to so many evictions of our working families in San Francisco.
That's right, and also across the country, we've seen the 515 take shape, and working class people are rising, am I right? So Prop J was brought to San Francisco here by a push through labor and community, and what it's going to do, it's going to increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2018, benefiting over 142,000 workers and giving us the strongest minimum wage law in the country. And let's not forget that while there are millions of dollars being put in to oppose Prop J and Prop G, this is a people's ballot. And together, we're going to be able to make affordable San Francisco for all of our families. So give it up for Cleve Jones.
My name is Cleve. I moved to this neighborhood in 1973. I was mentored by Harvey Milk, who lived just 2 blocks up with his lover Scott Smith. They ran a small shop called Castra Camera, and guess what happened? They got evicted. Harvey, back then, understood full well a couple of things. He knew that gay people needed to come out and be loud and proud about who we are. He knew that we needed district elections so that our neighborhoods could be truly represented in City Hall. And he understood we had to fight back against the speculators who were raising rents, evicting people, and destroying our neighborhoods. So we're calling this G, Proposition G, the Harvey Milk Memorial Anti-Speculation Measure. I read in the paper the other day that our former and probably current mayor, Willie Brown, says we're crazy. He says the voters of San Francisco are crazy. And I want to tell you, Mr. Mayor, and your flackies, you're right. We're crazy. We're crazy about our city. We're crazy about our neighborhoods. We're crazy about the beautiful diversity that this amazing city has represented for so many decades. We are crazy enough to fight as hard as we can to keep what we've got. I also want to say something as a man who is about to turn 60, and by the way, I'm having a fabulous party over at the cafe on October 11th. All welcome. But, you know, I live through a lot in this neighborhood, and I see many people in the crowd today who live through it with me. It's kind of scary to be 60, to have survived HIV as long as I have, and to know that people like me are being targeted specifically. That's right. They want us out of this neighborhood. Now, there was some incredible heroism that went down in this neighborhood. Over a decade and a half before treatment became available, everyone here took part in that struggle. We fought in the streets, we stayed home and cared for our loved ones, we changed stupid policies, we confronted the pharmaceutical industry, we fought and we fought. Now they tell me I gotta leave. I gotta find someplace more affordable. Where is that? Where am I supposed to go? And when I get there, how will I live? Who will look after me? My generation of gay men, many of us are not connected to our biological families. We came of age at a time when we could not have children or even keep the ones we'd had. We lost our dearest friends and lovers. And during those years when we were supposed to be making money and investing and saving and opening IRAs, we were in the trenches on the front line of a war. We're a vulnerable population. And we are being targeted for eviction. And large numbers of us have already left. And some of my friends have been so devastated that they've chosen another route and ended their lives. So when we carried that banner last year in November that said eviction equals death, that wasn't crazy, that was real. So this campaign is about real lives, real people, real neighborhoods, and we're going to show Willie Brown just how crazy we are.
Well, I can't beat Cleve. He was really a long-time friend of Harvey Milk. But some of you are old enough to remember when something like this happened once before. And some of you are not old enough, or you weren't living in this neighborhood to remember this story. So I want to tell it to you. Back in 1978, San Francisco was facing a real estate speculation problem. And a lot of gay people were right there in the middle of it. A few of us gay lib types, including my lover Michael Ward, a lesbian salsera, Judy Grayboys, and a transgender person who transitioned from being Paul to being Eartha while we were doing this. Spent about 6 months talking to people in a lot of neighborhoods. And then we published something called Who's Moving, which I happen to still have a copy of. And what it was, we talked to people in a bunch of neighborhoods. For instance, there was the one on Chinatown and Manila Town, as it was then called then, and one on the Mission. And it was basically about how speculation was ruining each of our neighborhoods. Here's how it happened back then. Flippers would look for a house that was, Flippers would look at a house that was bought by, let's say, an African-American family back in World War II for $29,000. It was now valued at $70,000, and maybe they were having trouble paying property taxes at a higher rate. They would look for those people, and they would then go to them and offer them $70,000 for their house. Those people often had to sell it and would probably have to move out of the city. They would paint it, and within 6 months turn it around and sell it again for $150,000. 6 months later, the new owners, who were also speculators, would turn around and sell it for $300,000. Within a couple years, a house that had been bought for $29,000 and was worth $70,000 was selling for as much. We couldn't believe it back then. $700,000 for a house. We just couldn't believe it. Now that sounds like nothing. But the realtors were delighted. You can imagine making the commissions they were making.
Bankers too.
Who wasn't delighted was all the people who got evicted in the process. The elderly on fixed incomes, on pensions. The people with HIV who had AIDS and who couldn't double their income to pay higher rents. And eventually, regular gay people who had been the first to move into communities of color were kicked out themselves so that more middle-class families could move in. Is this starting to sound familiar? Judy reminded me when I saw her last week that Harvey Milk came to a fundraiser at my house just down 17th Street, 3 blocks. We were having a fundraiser against real estate flipping. And he and I began strategizing on legislation to stop the practice. Originally, we wanted to lay a transfer tax on 100% of the profit, 100% of the profit, anytime somebody bought and sold a house in less than 1 year. But, you know, Harvey, with that sly little look in his eye that he got when there was something that he knew had real popular appeal but would absolutely stick it to the powers that be, said maybe that's a tad high. So he reduced it to 80%. That law didn't fly back then. But Proposition G can, and is directly in line with what turned out to be Harvey's last major issue. If you look at the San Francisco Association of Realtors mailings, they are suggesting that everybody who sells a house is going to have to pay a high transfer fee. Harvey had a 2-letter answer for that kind of political trickery. BS. This isn't designed to hurt homeowners. It's designed to people who have no intention of owning a home, just flipping. I have one small story I wanted to tell about calling Dan White. Can I tell that?
No!
So, when Harvey and I were talking about how we were going to get support on the Board of Supervisors for this kind of proposal, he was very dubious about Dan White even then. But I said, you know, I went to nursing school with his sister. I've got his home phone number. So I called him up. That was one of the scariest phone conversations I've ever had in my life, because there was like this dark abyss on the other side of the phone line. I was explaining how an anti-real estate speculation measure would help his working class neighborhood. I think he had 2 words in the whole conversation. Yeah? Huh. That's the end of the story.
I'm not going to be on defense with these guys anymore. This is our city. We're taking it back. Sisters and brothers, we're going to win.
Come out, you pigs. I'm gonna huff, and I'm gonna puff, and I'm gonna flip your house around!
Make me! Do you know how expensive it is to live here? Well, do you? Well, it costs us $2,900 per month. Do you think we can afford to leave this home and still stay in this area?
Yeah, I make $15 an hour just to support this family. I would have to work 2 minimum wage jobs just to continue living in San Francisco.
Tough troubles. I bought this property, and you have no choice. I'm huffed, and I'm puffed, and I'm gonna flip your house around! My neighbors! Aha, look at this straw property. This housing complex. This is going to be a prime renovating spot. It is a rent-controlled building, so these piglets only pay $800. I can renovate this and rent it out for $3,500! I'm gonna be so rich! I'll buy this place, evict these ham hocks, and turn a major profit. Come on out, pigs!
No! There isn't enough low-income housing in San
Francisco's for us to live in. You can't just kick us out.
Yeah, we work minimum wage. All of it goes to rent and utilities. We can't even afford healthy food. And we live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, we can't even afford diapers. I have to use newspapers. Y'all can manage. I'm going to huff, and I'm going to puff, and I'm going to flip your house around.
All right, so after that, our pigs now find themselves at a housing authority office.
Man, that wolf kicked us out of our homes.
You too? He kicked us out while singing, and that is just pure evil.
What a scumbag. But what can we do about it?
Hey, look over there. There's a kickoff event to tax speculators. Minimum wage, and that's that.
Let's organize! Forget you! You get our homes and we're moving you out of this town!
All right, so after that, Larry the musical speculating wolf was never seen again, thanks to Prop G, where if any speculators were to come and try to evict any more people, they would get a large tax on the profit that they make. So this is a way for them to scaring them off. Another reason why is because of Prop J. Prop J gave the working class more money so they could fight off people like Larry. And because of that, San Francisco becomes more affordable and more better city than ever before. Thank you.
So, did you know that over 10,000 San Francisco tenants have been displaced due to this Ellis Act? What do we think of that? Our next speaker is a long-time San Francisco tenant. Thank you for coming out. Living in the Soma, has faced multiple evictions, 4 evictions, and is now facing another one. And she's here to speak out today.
Hello everybody, my name is Teresa Dulalas. Actually, we belong to the straw house. So our house has been built in the early...
Closer.
Our house has been, was actually built in the early 1900s, so it's under rent control. When, after our original homeowners actually passed away, 3 new homeowners came after. 3 they tried to evict us 3 times, but with the help of Tenderloin Housing Clinic under Dean Preston and Raquel Fox, we won. But the thing is, I just want to let you guys know that there is hope. There is hope. This anti-speculation tax, yes on G, will help tenants all over our city. This might be a role model for all the rest of the nation. Our building currently, our homeowner is Sergio Ian Torno. He's actually evicting 4 buildings. I ask you guys, please, to spread the word, and make sure that in the next coming elections for supervisors, that you please screen all the candidates. Screen all the candidates. It is really important. We have supervisors here right now who have worked their butts off in order to help support tenants. Please support all of them here. Please help us. Please vote yes on G, yes on J, and there is hope.
Hello everybody. My name is Naxul Rama. I work for Community Housing Partnership. Can everybody hear me? Sorry. Okay, so I work for Community Housing Partnership. It's a nonprofit affordable housing provider for low-income, formerly homeless individuals. A lot of these people work really hard every day with really difficult situations, and the minimum wage would increase their ability to be able to live in the city and have productive lives. It's very hard to be able to work and focus on your work when you're worried about the roof over your head or whether you have food on the table. And this is why we need the minimum wage, so that we can alleviate some of those pains that people are going through. And what we do here in San Francisco resonates around the rest of the country. So asking for $15 here is going to resonate to the rest of the country, and that's why we have to start here. And yes on J and yes on G.
All right, y'all. Next up, we have one of our supervisors, Eric Marr.
Thank you. Do you feel the power that we have today? We have 56 days to flex that muscle and to pass Prop G and Prop J. Do you feel as crazy as I do and Cleve Jones about our city that we have to protect? Do you feel crazy as well? I wanted to invoke not only the spirit of Harvey Milk and those that have passed before us. I wanted to say also I was with many of the Filipino and immigrant and Chinese community folks with the anniversary of the fall of the I Hotel several weeks ago. The Manongs, the immigrant community heroes, and many in Chinatown and others that have fought for decades and generations to protect their homes. We fight in their footsteps and we stand on their shoulders as well. This is our city, and we are going to be fighting in the next 56 days to build our campaign to win. I wanted to also say that I'm glad that Richmond District residents are here, along with neighborhoods from our supervisors, David Campos, Jane Kim, President David Chu, and others that are here. But all of our neighborhoods are organized. We need to build that unity, though, and we have a short amount of time in 56 days to do it. I wanted to also say that, as Mike Casey said, uniting economic justice struggles with housing justice struggles is critical, not just in 56 days, but for our future. Prop J is so critical, raising the minimum wage, but it's not enough as well. But we know that it doesn't belong to Mayor Lee. Prop J does not belong to him or the politicians. It belongs to all of us that 10 years ago, I know Mike Casey and others are here, Chris Daly is here as well, but Matt Gonzalez, Barry Hermanson, who funded the campaign, Young Workers United, Chinese Progressive Association, many of the others of us as well, ACE and ACORN as well, built that campaign. And thanks to the Labor Council, Jobs with Justice, the Progressive Workers Alliance, and our social justice movements, we'll make sure that San Francisco stays ahead of the curve and that we spread like a prairie fire with policies, not only with a minimum wage and paid sick leave, but also with a retail workers' bill of rights, so part-time workers have dignity as well. Lastly, the wolves in sheep's clothing, the speculators that CPA Youth brought up, we will fight the enemy like crazy so we protect our city. Long live Harvey Milk, long live the spirit of the I Hotel. Whose city? Our city! Whose city? Our city!
I will be 2 minutes. San Francisco is setting the bar again for workers' right, and are we going to do it in November? Yes! Eric Marr already mentioned it. I am proud to be an author of Prop J and also Prop G, but we would not be able to put these measures on the ballot for November if not for the strong working class and middle class communities here in San Francisco that are going to support us to victory. So, if you make minimum wage here in San Francisco and you are lucky to work 40 hours a week, do you know how much you make here in San Francisco? $22,000 a year. If you work 40 hours a week and you make minimum wage, and we have the highest minimum wage in the country, you make $22,000 a year. Is that enough to live here in San Francisco? It is time. We set the bar in 2003, and we will do it again in November with all of our communities to get $15 an hour by 2018. That is no health care credit, no tip credit. These are pure wages that people will be bringing home and investing back in their neighborhoods and communities. That is almost $9,000 more a year that workers will be able to bring in and spend back in their communities and their neighborhoods. Is that right? So San Francisco, we need to win it. We win it with paid sick days many years ago. California is now the state that has paid sick days for the entire state. It is important that what we do here in San Francisco is victorious because we know these policies get replicated throughout the country. So when we win equity and justice here in San Francisco, we do that for the entire country. So are we going to do it in November?
Big supporter of Prop G and J. Please welcome David Campos.
Right, San Francisco! Alright! Thank you guys. You know, I think it's only fitting that we're here in the heart of the Castro, because the Castro is actually facing the largest number of evictions in the entire city and county of San Francisco. And if Harvey Milk were the district supervisor, Harvey Milk would be here today. But the spirit of Harvey Milk is here with us, and I want to thank our progressive allies for recognizing the role that the queer progressive community has played in getting us to this point. There is something happening in San Francisco. There is a people movement that is taking over this city, that is sending a message that the people who are trying to buy San Francisco, our city is not for sale. Our city is not for sale. And on November 4th, we're going to send a clear message that this city belongs to all of us. Whose city? Our city. Whose city? Our city. Whose city? Our city. Our city, we're taking it back.
Buenos dias, Tagaho. Good morning. The sun is shining on our tenants today, and I think this is a sign that we are going to win in November. Do you agree? Does anyone think the rent is too damn high? Every single person here, we have friends, we have neighbors who have been evicted. We know seniors who they have come after. We know disabled friends who they've come after. We know young people who they've come after. We know immigrants who they've come after. And you know how the saying goes, when they come after one of us, they come after When they come after one of us, they come after all of us. Let me also say, I want to thank you for representing the beautiful diversity that is San Francisco. We are white, we are black, we are Asian, we are Latino, we are gay, we are straight, we are young, we are youth. We are united, and this is how we're going to win in November. And I also just want to take one moment to thank all of you who are here, because I know for all of us who are elected officials, David Campos and Eric Marr and Jane Kim and John Avalos, you inspire us every day. So let me just ask you one more thing. What are we saying yes on in November? Yes on what? G Taigon. Let me also take a moment and teach everyone a little bit of Cantonese, all right? G Tai On, okay? G Tai On. G Tai On.